Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another show of Discourse. We're your hosts, Sharmalyne
and Reuben.
So, if you hadn't guessed already, the song we played was Paranoid Android by Radiohead, which would mean that the theme for this week is...
technology. I thought that was a really good song, because that's a triple whammy, right? You've got there Paranoid Android.
Yeah.
Android, Androids on the phones and stuff.
Wow, yeah.
Radiohead. Radio, that's technology. Do you know what album that song comes from?
Well, I could see the answer here on the quadruple D, the Discourse design document that we have.
From OK Computer.
Yeah.
That's 3 pieces of technology in one song. That's like as many pieces of technology as you can fit.
Is that the album name?
Yeah.
Because that's also a Cartoon Network show. That's why I was really confused when I saw that. I thought they played Radiohead in Cartoon Network. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's probably a shock to the systems with the 5-year-old still watching Cartoon Network.
Starting off young.
Yeah.
So technology. What are we thinking about technology?
Well, we've got here first time using a computer.
Yeah.
My first time using a computer is very well documented.
Yeah, isn't it like photographic evidence?
There's photographic evidence of me.
First time?
Yeah, because my uncle had a computer in his room, which he did his work on, obviously.
Yeah.
And my favourite thing to do was to go in and play the Charlie and Lola butterfly game on his computer.
I used to love that game.
Oh, I was so obsessed with going on the CBeebies website on his work computer specifically. So I'd go in, I'd do the Charlie and Lola game, I'd do the Mr. Tumble draw your own adventure game. I'd do all that, and then I'd use his printer to print out all the butterflies I made.
Yeah.
And I was so obsessed with his computer. What he did one day, he changed the background of his computer to be my face. And then when I went on the computer next time, I was like, oh, that's me. Except I was 2, so I probably didn't say that, but...
You probably just burbled.
Yeah, I probably just went,
noise.
Oh...
What he should have done, what your uncle should have done, is taken a picture of, the picture of you using the computer, set that as the desktop background, and then taken a picture of you using that.
What, like an infinite loop?
So it's like Inception, like you just there were multiple layers of you using the computer. I can tell you about I don't know the first time I used a computer. I can tell you about my first memory of using a computer.
Okay, yeah.
It was, my mum used to take me of a lunchtime down to our local library.
Oh, I love the library.
I love the library. It's so obviously you go to the library, wealth of knowledge available to me as a young boy, all of these books everywhere. Obviously what I do is make a beeline straight for the computer. And I never
used the computers in the library because I didn't think I was allowed.
Oh, well, you missed out. Because I would do one of 2 things when I was there in the library. I would either... go on Microsoft Paint and I would draw a load of lines, and then I would use the fill tool to colour in the gaps between them, which I think kind of gives you an indication of the kind of child that I was. Or I was in a very big Pink Panther phase at the time. So what I would do, this was I must have only been about 4 at this point, so this is before YouTube is really in its prime. So I would just look up on Google Images GIFs of the Pink Panther, animated little images of the GIFs, and I was loving that. I thought, this is great, this is how I want to spend my time. I thought, wouldn't it be great if these hours of entertainment I get here sitting at this computer in the library looking at Pink Panther GIFs, wouldn't it be good if I could have that anywhere with me, if I could just take that experience anywhere. I could be anywhere, and at any point I could have access.
Are you implying that you invented the mobile phone?
I'm not implying I invented the mobile phone, but I'm saying I was a smart kid. I put 2 and 2 together. I'm thinking, oh, hang on, the library's got a printer. I could print out one of these GIFs, and then I can have animated Pink Panther videos anytime. So I got my mum to pay the...
the 25p charge or whatever.
Yeah, the 25p charge or whatever it was for to use the library printer. And to my utmost horror, of course, when you print out a video, it's not animated on the piece of paper.
Wow.
That really distressed me as a child. And that's my first memory of using a computer.
You know what you would have loved? Those animated... Those digital photo frame things where they just show videos.
Yeah, I would have loved that. But alas...
That probably didn't exist. Back then.
Before I invented the iPhone. But yeah, the technology, we're CS students, so it permeates, every aspect
Unfortunately.
of our lives. But I'm not any better with it. I've since I was 4. Yesterday I went into I went for a little run, got back, got into the shower. I was like, something's off. I realized I was showering with my Apple Watch on, which you don't want to do.
Isn't it waterproof though?
Yeah, but I feel like when they say that a product's waterproof, they're not suggesting that you blast it with water.
I guess, yeah.
I think it's more a kind of thing of, if you get this wet, don't worry, it's fine. And it was fine.
I've had my watch for probably 8 years now, and every time it breaks, my dad just super glues it, and it's somehow works.
You super glues the wires back together.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Legitimately just super glues it, so yeah.
And your dad.
Yeah, go technology, I guess.
Right, shall we stick another little song on?
Yes.
And then we can come back with more tech-related discussion this week. So we've got up next classic tune by The Buggles. It's only Video Killed the Radio Star. That was Video Killed the Radio Star by The Buggles, and I'm worried, Sharm.
Why are you worried?
Because if Video Killed the Radio Star, what does that mean for us? Are we doomed? What's going to happen to us? Before we get into tech stuff, can I just hijack this radio show to ask for advice from our listeners quickly?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Right.
You just looked directly at me and said that, so I thought you were talking to me, but okay, yeah. Talk to our...
You're the only person in the room.
Okay, yeah, that's true, yeah.
Look at someone. Right, so when I do my little runs, I go for a bit of a run, and what I do is I'll go to Aldi and I will buy myself a nice 5-pack of it's their version of Twixes called Jive.
The Jive. Yeah.
Other chocolate bars are available, of course, but I get the Jive. It's a nice chocolate bar, and I'll always have one of those for a little energy boost before I go for a run, right? And I never buy more than one multi-pack at a time, because I feel a bit I don't know, it feels a bit, I've got so much chocolate in my room, this is kind of bad. But the other day, I cracked, and I thought, well, I know I'm gonna buy more of these anyway. So I just went into Aldi and I got 5 multi-packs of Jive bars. So right now in my room there are 20. Well, there are not 25 Jive bars. This is the thing, because I thought I'd be fine. I thought I was a person with self-control, self-discipline.
Yeah.
But now that there's such a wealth of chocolate bars in my room, I can't help myself. I would always limit myself to 1 per day, one before the run. But it's bad now. I had 3 yesterday. I don't know what to do. So I guess I just want to ask for listener, if anyone has any ideas, can someone tell me, what do I do with these chocolate bars? Where do I put them? How do I mentally retrain myself to stop eating them?
I mean, I feel like you had the solution before by just buying 1 packet. So,
but I mean, I will do that in the future because I've learnt my lesson. But right now, I'm sitting on a stack of chocolate bars. So at Discount Discourse on Instagram or Discount Discourse Show at gmail.com, please email in. Please message me. Tell me what to do with my chocolate bars. With that out of the way, do you want to talk about Minecraft?
Oh, yeah. So I've had some interesting jobs in the past, one of them being Minecraft coding, where I taught a bunch of kids how to play Minecraft.
I can't get that. Such a cool job.
Yeah, and I basically got it by networking, because the person who owns the business, her daughter went to my school, so I just sort of asked for the job, and she gave it to me.
That's good. That's in the world of business. That's what you want.
That is networking. Exactly. Yeah, so, well, one of the related stories to my Minecraft coding is that, obviously, when I revealed to Reuben and our good friend Rob that I did this Minecraft coding, they were adamant to see my Minecraft coding world. Yeah. So I showed them how to code in Minecraft, and we built a massive TNT tower thing. And, yeah, it ended up blowing up my world, the world that I happened to use to educate children with. So I thought, let me just close the app, and then next week when I log on to teach kids, it'll be fine. I tried to open it the next week, and it won't open.
I'm pretty sure we crashed the game.
You just crashed. Yeah, you ended up
from the sheer volume.
The whole game, and I was panicking, and I was calling my boss, and yeah, at the end of the day.
So what? What does that what does that phone call sound like? What do you have
Well, I
to
wasn't
say?
going to reveal that I was abusing my Minecraft world, was
Yeah.
I? So I just sort of said, my Minecraft's not opening, and I don't know what I've done. I haven't done anything malicious with it, so how can I fix it?
I mean, that's not a lie. You hadn't done anything malicious
Yeah,
with
exactly. I haven't done it. Other people have done malicious things to my Minecraft world.
It was an experiment. You wouldn't have said,
That's
okay,
true.
if it was Albert Einstein sitting next to you, and he said, "Oh, let me show you how to do E equals MC squared in Minecraft," and it went wrong, you wouldn't have called him malicious, would you? You wouldn't call Einstein malicious. It was an experiment, it was a science experiment.
I guess, yeah.
You wouldn't call Newton malicious.
Isaac Newton.
Yeah.
Oh, I found out the other day he was 23 when he discovered gravity.
When you discovered the apple,
When the apple fell on him, he was 23 years old.
what am I supposed to do with this information?
Yeah, well, doesn't that kind of scare you? Because we're slowly approaching the age 23 and we haven't made any life-changing discoveries.
Well, no, hang on a minute. He age 23, what had he done? He'd kind of been, farting around for his first 23 years to the point that he's age 23, Isaac Newton is doing nothing but sitting under a tree. That's how busy he is. That's how grind set he is. And then,
but it was more because apparently there was a pandemic at that time, so they were all forced to be at home. So he had no other entertainment except to sit under the tree.
okay, fair enough. I'll cut him some slack.
Yeah.
But point being, Isaac Newton wasn't working hard. He was lounging, and then apple falls on his head. He's discovered the apple. Great. I mean, he's he's discovered gravity. But I mean, case in point,
I feel like, I don't know, it kind of sucks because some discoveries like gravity I feel like I could have done. So if
I feel
gravity...
like anyone could have discovered gravity.
Exactly.
I think anyone could have come to the conclusion, oh, hang on, when I drop thing goes down. What's going on there?
Exactly. So that's why a lot of the stuff that has already been discovered I feel like I could have done. Like Pythagoras' theorem, I could have done that.
Yeah.
That's just a squared plus b squared equals c squared.
God, you're so smart. I guess it's just who gets to it first, though, right?
Yeah, well, alas, we didn't get to it first.
I mean, unfortunately, we're in a time now where all of the kind of the good discoveries have been snatched up.
Exactly.
Already.
Like, the only thing left is the cure to cancer, and that's about it.
That's a harder one. That's one where I feel like it's not just going to drop onto your head.
Yeah.
That would be really cool, though.
If the cure to cancer fell on your head.
If you were sitting under a tree and the cure to cancer dropped onto your head.
It was apples all along. An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
That's so true. Does that actually work?
I think it's more that if you eat an apple, you're eating vitamins. Therefore, you're not going to the doctor.
You're eating a lot of sugar also, though.
You're eating a lot of arsenic if you eat the seeds.
Yes, you're eating a lot of arsenic, you're eating a lot of sugar. It may keep the doctor away, but I tell you who it's not keeping away. The dentist. The dentist can be knocking on your door saying, let me see those teeth. You've been eating so much sugar.
I don't think dentists existed back then.
When the phrase originated.
Yeah. Which is probably why it wasn't that big of a deal. Because everyone probably had rotten teeth back when the phrase was invented. So it didn't really matter if their teeth got more rotted by eating apples.
This is true. If you know when the phrase an apple a day keeps the doctor away, get in touch. Right, should we stick another song on?
Yes. We've got up next a song by Herbie Hancock, and it is I Thought It Was You. And we are back. That was Herbie Hancock with I Thought It Was You. So we are on to the part of the show where we read out our viewer suggestions. So, Reuben, what was the question we asked our viewers this week?
The question we asked our viewers this week, it was a bit of a peculiar question, actually. This is, if you could bring one device with you to a desert island, what would it be? So we asked, you answered. Who wants to read these out? Do you want to alternate?
Yeah, we can alternate. Okay, so our first viewer suggested a Wii.
As in the Nintendo Wii console.
I don't know what other Wii device you were thinking of, but...
It's toilet. But yeah, what do we think about the Nintendo Wii?
I think the Nintendo Wii is goated.
Goated, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a fabulous invention. Very big
I also think
memory.
better games for the Wii than any other device.
Definitely. Though, I mean, the Wii, there are a lot of bad games for the Wii, I think, as well. It's like a real mixed bag. No, it's just like the kind of console where, because it was the family console, you get a lot of the really kind of rubbishy kind of like family fortunes for the Nintendo Wii kind of gets dumped onto it.
Yeah.
But I liked it a lot. Played it a lot.
I had Family
as a kid.
Fortunes, but for the PS2. So
Was it any good?
no, I remember I used to cry a lot because I kept losing. Because me, my brother, and my dad would play, and my dad was okay. My brother was really good to see, even though he's younger than me, and I would always lose, so I would cry because I was just that kind of person that if I lost, I would cry.
No, I was the same. I was a horrifically sore loser when I was a child. We would play Mario Kart Wii or Wii Party or one of the other numerous games, and if I lost the game, I would just go up and I would just turn the console off. I wouldn't say anything, and I just like restart and act as if it never happened.
A controversial opinion: I hate Super Mario Party.
You hate Mario Party?
I hate it. It's the equivalent of Monopoly, but for the Wii.
Oh my!
Where it takes ages, and the games are just kind of and I'd much rather be playing Mario Kart or like actual.
I tell you what, you're doing wrong with Mario Party, right? When you're playing Mario Party, how are you playing? Are you playing to win?
Well, yeah.
That's where you're going wrong. That is where you're going so wrong. Because what you need to be doing with Mario Party, I've learned, is you play to screw over other people, and it makes the game infinitely more fun. You just play to make decisions, even if they won't benefit you, that just are going to like negatively impact your friends the most. And that makes it so much more fun.
I will take that into account next time I ever decide to play that game.
Yeah.
Which probably won't be anytime soon.
Should be. Right, next listener suggestion. We got, not sure if it's a device per se, some sort of solar-powered jet ski yacht. This is...
I laughed when I read that. That was really good.
That was really good. That's not in the spirit of the question, though.
Would you class a yacht as a device? That's not really a device. That's a whole vehicle.
That's a whole vehicle. I think device is like has a size limit on it, right? I think.
Yeah.
What size do you get to before you stop classifying something as a device?
Because is a TV a device? Because TVs can be quite big.
Yeah, I say a TV is a device.
Yeah, so I'm guessing a TV.
Somewhere in between TV and yacht, I'm going to say.
There's a limit to device.
There's a limit.
Yeah.
And also, it's not in the spirit of the question. If you're like, the whole idea is you're on the desert island and you've got to stay there. You can't just jet ski off into the sunset. You've got to like spend time on the island. What are the logistics of this island? Are we assuming that there's some sort of like power there?
I just assume bog standard. I mean, we asked this question about the devices, but if there's no internet or power, then it like makes all the answers mute anyway. So I'm just assuming that you retain some level of charge or whatever in your device.
Should you say there's like a little plug socket on here so you can like stick it, plug something in?
Your device is usable.
Your device is usable. Yeah. I think that's smart. Right. What do we have next?
So we've got 3 answers that were basically all along the lines of DS and DSi, and I concur with that.
Yeah, I think this would be... What would your answer be to this question?
My answer would probably be my iPod.
Yeah.
Just because I can't live a day without my iPod, so why would I live on a desert island without it? But if I had to pick a second answer, then a DSi would probably...
Yeah. I would absolutely certainly take my modified 3DS, which has like every game ever on it, and that would be me done for the rest of life. To be honest, like if someone offered this to me right now, say you go on this island with nothing but your DS, I would take them up on it. I would go. There's nothing left for me here. That would be a good time. Because
once you have your DSi with every single game on it ever, the world really is your oyster.
Yeah. You've got Mario in there. You've got Professor Layton is in there.
The goats.
Pokemon. You've got it all.
You've got brain training.
You've got brain training. Yeah, that's the thing. You've got everything aside from... Well, okay, actually... Okay, so I need to stay mentally, like, stimulated.
Yeah.
I've got brain training. I need to make sure I'm eating well. I've got Cooking Mama in there.
Cooking Mama is not going to feed you.
Well, she's going to teach me how to feed myself.
I guess.
I've got...
Have you ever... Okay, wait, pause. Have you ever played that game, which is... I think it was called Die Cooking Mama or something. The one... It was the PETA game. Because basically PETA, the animal organisation...
Yes.
They made all those rip-off Nintendo games.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, and then, so me and my brother, when we were really young, we looked up Cooking Mama because we didn't have it on the DS or the DSi or whatever. So we wanted to play it online. And then the only version that came up, we didn't know it was a Peter version, but we were playing it and it was this Die Cooking Mama about Cooking Mama like killing turkeys and then becoming vegan.
Gosh, yeah, they did a similar one for Mario, because obviously Mario wears like all of his like various
tanuki.
Yes, tanuki, like his kind of costumes like animals. And I don't know, there's no implication in the games that Mario has kind of like assassinated any animals to produce the costume. I think it's just kind of a magical thing. But I don't know. I say choose your battles. Yeah. Like I don't think we're going to solve world peace by going after Super Mario. I think he's all right.
Also, what do you think's better, brain training or sight training? I'm assuming you've played both games.
I've played brain training. You've brought sight training up to me multiple times, like it's this thing that everyone's played. That's because
I'm pretty sure it's made by the same company that did Dr. Kawashima's brain training, and it's so much better. You can play real sports in it. You can play American football. You can play boxing, and there's loads of eye relaxation exercises.
How does boxing tie into like sight training?
Because it's eye coordination.
Okay, but I feel like you could say that about anything.
But it's fun, and I think sight training is way better.
Okay, well, I'll play sight training and get back to you.
Okay.
But yeah, good suggestion, the Nintendo DS. Finally, we have this. I mean, you brought this up already. MP3 player with all my favourite music on it.
Exactly.
That's a good shout. Although, I mean, if we're like getting into the nitty gritty of the logistics of this island, then I say just bring like an internet connected phone and then.
Yeah, but we specifically said we weren't accepting phone as an answer.
This is true.
So,
well, I've made a fool of myself there. Thank you very much for all your suggestions. Actually, can I shout out next week what we were doing so people can get their answers in early if they want to? Because next week, what we were thinking of doing was, because we were going to have our theme be relationships.
Oh, well, right? You decided this, yeah.
Well, I decided this.
I'm pretty sure you decided all the themes and I've just went along with it because I could not think of anything better. But, yes.
And we were saying what we might do like a little agony aunt thing where people kind of send in their woes to us. And we kind of give you a solution. Obviously, we're not qualified therapists, so please
don't send in anything serious.
Don't send in anything serious. Keep it light. But
send in something like your jive dilemma.
Send in something like the kind of chocolate bar thing, and then we'll give you a solution. Please don't make it heavy. Like if it's an actual problem in your life, if it's actually giving you grief, don't send it to us. Talk to someone else about it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for all of your listener suggestions, everyone.
If we move on to the next song now, we've got Yours Truly 2095 by Electric Light Orchestra.
There's a surprise, ELO on Discount Discourse.
I know, what a shocker.
That was Yours Truly 2095 by ELO Electric Light Orchestra. And coming up now, we have the fan favourite feature. Everyone loves this feature. I haven't had a single email with negative feedback about this feature.
Wow, that must mean it's very positively received then.
I also haven't had a single email. But that's besides the point. But I can only assume what's happened there is there's been such an influx of like listener suggestions and Google's servers have just like crashed. So they're not making it through to us. But yeah. So, Breakdown in Tears. Do you want to explain the feature?
Yeah, so Breakdown in Tears is we just bring something along that's related to the topic of the week and we're essentially ranking it into a tier list. We should actually make...
I have.
Oh, you've made... Okay.
If you check the DDDD, the Discount Discourse Design document...
page 9.
Bottom, I've made a little tier list. Last week... we discussed our theme was animals, so we discussed monkeys, which we put in A tier. We discussed Animal Jam, the browser-based social game, which we put in D tier. So this week, what I wanted to bring to the table was the internet.
That's what you're bringing, the
that's
internet.
What I'm bringing to the table.
That's obviously going to be S tier.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Okay, make your case to me.
Because you can literally do everything on the internet.
Okay, you've got to give me more than that.
What do you mean I have to give you more than that?
Let me play devil's advocate here then.
Okay, yeah.
Internet has also caused a lot of bad things to happen in the world. It's given a platform to bad people. It's caused it's allowed for I know election interference to happen.
I
and
mean,
stuff.
yeah, I guess, but the news gives a platform to bad people, and we still need the news. So
This is true.
you can't just bring the internet as a whole concept to our tier list. That's essentially saying, oh, I'm bringing the whole entire universe into our tier list.
That was going to be my one for next week. Well, okay, what do you think of so you're saying the internet is an S tier thing?
Yeah. Because there are negatives, but there are also... I feel like the positives of the internet outweigh the negatives.
Okay, yeah. I'm hesitant to put it in S tier. I want to say... You've said S tier. I want to say A tier, because I acknowledge that there's a lot of good stuff about the internet, right? It's done many great things for society. It's been instrumental in my development as a person.
Yeah, I was chronically online, and without the internet... I would not be who I am.
This is true. I'm going to say S tier for the internet.
Yeah. A lot of stuff has bad things as well, but I feel like the good outweighs the bad of the internet.
Yeah. Okay. We'll stick internet in S tier then. What are you bringing to the table today?
Yeah, it's literally just going to be me thinking this up on the spot.
Right.
Technology... I'm bringing plug sockets.
Plug sockets.
To the table.
You're bringing plug sockets to the table.
Yeah.
Exciting developments here on the show.
Yeah. I think that the UK plug socket is the superior plug socket.
Oh, absolutely. It's that's not even an opinion. That's a fact. We have the safest plug socket
ever.
The American, the ones other ones.
Where they're all constantly live.
They're all constantly live. They only have the 2 prongs.
Yeah.
But we've got the 3. We've got the triple prongs. We've got the Earth thing.
We've got the Earth prong, and it doesn't make the other 2 live until the Earth one is plugged in.
Yeah, so it's baby safe. If you're a baby, and babies always doing this stupid stuff. I don't know why they're doing it, but sticking your fingers in a plug socket or something, you're safe. So that's got that going for it, plug sockets.
Yeah.
They can be in inconvenient locations sometimes.
That's true.
In my room, there is a plug socket placed, it's, the 2 sockets, but it's placed in such a location where you can only use one of them because the bed frame kind of blocks the other one. So if you want to plug anything in, the plug itself is going to be too big to actually fit into the socket. But then I feel like that's more of an issue with interior design
as opposed to plugs.
The plug socket
themselves. Yeah. Where would we be without plug sockets?
We would be in the dark ages. That's where we would be.
We literally would.
We would be living with Isaac Newton and when was Isaac Newton alive?
I want to say 1800s. Don't quote me on that, but I'm going to guess 1873.
Who was the inventor of the light bulb?
Thomas Edison, isn't it? Yeah.
That's right. And how did that happen? Was it a light bulb fell onto his head while he was sitting under a tree?
No,
or something?
I'm pretty sure it just I'm pretty sure he went out of his way to do it. Isaac Newton was alive 1643 to 1727.
Gosh, so he was very far back then. I would have put him a bit more close than that.
And then Thomas Edison invented the light bulb 1879. So I was close with their years, just for the wrong thing.
So they're quite far off then. But isn't that funny to think, though, that Albert Einstein, I don't know where the scientist discussion has come from, but Albert Einstein was alive, into...
he was alive during World War II. Well,
he was alive during Oppenheimer, I know that.
He was alive during Oppenheimer, and he also made, nuclear bombs for the Nazis, but that's beside the point.
Is that true?
Yeah. I read, oh my god, it's kind of funny. Basically, in year 6, I read this book, horrible histories and stuff.
Do I know horrible histories?
So there was this book series, which was kind of a spin-off of horrible histories, but it wasn't. And it was about all these famous people, and the whole book was just about the history of this one famous person. And then I read one, and it was called Albert Einstein. It was about Albert Einstein. And then I had a scholarship interview for my school in year 7. And at the scholarship interview, they asked me if I could talk to anyone alive, or if I could have dinner with anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Well, first of all, I'd pick alive because they're probably going to be more interesting,
I guess,
conversation.
Yeah, and then I wanted to seem really nerdy, so I said Albert Einstein because I just read this book about Albert Einstein, and I said because he basically failed all his exams and he was an F tier student.
Hang on, no, I feel like this is a myth. I've
Probably
read
is,
up on this,
but
and
in that book, that's what it said.
I've read up on this because the myth goes that Albert Einstein was flunked school and whatever, and then he was actually E equals MC squared. But
no, but they did this thing where they did an autopsy on him, and then in his brain, the maths part of his brain was significantly larger.
Well, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I think it's a myth that I think he wasn't stellar at school, I don't think, but he wasn't flunking it.
Yeah, well, this book had told me that, so I just repeated that.
Books don't lie.
Yeah, I just said, I'd love to meet up with Albert Einstein, and I'd love to ask him, how did he fail school and yet be such an influential scientist? And I got in.
He would have said to you, well, actually, that's a common myth that I failed school.
Well, he probably would have said all that in German, but yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing with the question, the dinner party question.
Yeah.
It's always dead or alive. First of all, I'm going to pick alive because they're going to be more interesting to talk to, because the dead ones aren't really going to have that much to say. But secondly, you're kind of limited by language, right? Because like you said, Albert Einstein is going to be speaking at you in German.
I mean, he spoke English in Oppenheimer, so I can only assume he knows English.
This is true, but also I feel like that was maybe done for the sake of the audience.
No, because I'm assuming he did go to America at some point to film the events of Oppenheimer.
To film the events of Oppenheimer. That's documentary footage.
Yeah.
That's actually...
Yeah, because I don't even know who plays Albert Einstein in that movie. He's just credited as Albert Einstein on Google.
Really?
Well, probably. I don't know.
Albert Einstein, actor... Oppenheimer. We're Googling
No,
it
don't
live.
spoil it for me.
I won't spoil it for you. Okay.
I'm choosing to believe that was the actual Albert Einstein.
Can I just tell you one thing that this says?
Okay.
Because this made me laugh. I won't say his name. I won't reveal that to you because you want to live in blissful ignorance.
That was Albert Einstein in that movie.
He starred in one of the greatest movies of all time. Guess which movie this is referring to?
Bill and Ted.
Paddington 2.
Oh, the actor.
Yeah.
I thought you had Albert Einstein as a character. Because Albert Einstein's in Bill and Ted.
Yeah, Albert Einstein. No, I meant the actor.
Oh, right, okay.
Started on Paddington 2.
Who is it? Jim Broadbent, then?
Tom Conti.
Okay, I hate Paddington 2, controversial opinion.
We've talked about this on the radio before. We've talked about Paddington 2.
Yeah. I kind of hate Paddington 2 because it's not even that good, but everyone in the world seems to hype it up, so therefore I've chosen to actively hate the movie.
I think the thing is with Paddington 2, it's one of those things where it's sort of I think it's a Rotten Tomatoes thing, where Paddington 2 is not, it's not like, you're not going to
But wasn't it rated 100%?
But this is the thing, this is the way Rotten Tomatoes works, right? It's I don't think you're going to sit down and you're going to find Paddington 2 a breathtaking cinematic experience, but I feel like you're probably going to like it. And the way Rotten Tomatoes works is it's not an average of scores. Yeah. It's just which percentage of people gave this film a positive rating. So critics giving a film 10 out of 10s is going to look the exact same as critics giving a film 7 out of 10. I
guess. No, but another thing is that it's even just in pop culture how great that movie is. Because I watched Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which is the whole Nicolas Cage movie. Pretty good. I quite liked it. And it was about how this mega fan, this really rich mega fan of Nicolas Cage, played by Pedro Pascal, invited Nicolas Cage to his birthday party.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole thing in the movie about how Pedro Pascal character's favourite movie is Paddington 2, and that's how Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal bond in the movie. The fact that their favourite movie is both Paddington 2, and they watch it twice as part of the plot of this movie. And they made such a big deal about it, and I don't get it.
So what that reminds me of, I think we've had this exact conversation before, but when you say they watched Paddington 2 twice and it was the plot of the movie, that reminds me of the Beatles film Yesterday, where this guy gets transported into a world where the Beatles never existed, and he kind of steals all of their songs. And then Ed Sheeran shows up in it, and you think, okay, whatever, Ed Sheeran cameo, fine. Yeah. But then he just has a prominent role in the rest of the film, and he's one of the main characters, and that really frustrated me.
Do you reckon he paid for that, or did they explicitly invite him? Or do you reckon he produced the movie and he just self-inserted himself into this movie?
I feel like they probably had a big list of like people, like
because he was in Game of Thrones. He had a cameo in Game of Thrones, a soldier who dies.
what did he kind of go down? Did he wait? So
Like he plays a soldier and then he sings a song on a guitar and then he dies. I'm pretty sure.
Did he play one of his songs?
I don't know. I haven't seen
"I'm
Game
in
of
love with
Thrones.
the
I've
Shape
just
of You"?
heard of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate Shape of You now.
This is the thing, though. That's the thing. The Beatles film, you're expecting the soundtrack to be Beatles songs, but the most played song ends up being Ed Sheeran's like "Shape of You." It really frustrated me. But I imagine, going back to what you were saying before, what happened was they had a big list of like, here's some like big people in music that we can get in. Because in the plot of the film, what happens is this, the main character who is the only person in the world with the knowledge of the Beatles movies. This is plot spoilers, by the way, but I feel like anyone who wants to have seen this movie
would have seen it by now. Yeah.
And he meets, I don't remember why he meets Ed Sheeran, but they have a songwriting competition where it's...
doesn't he write Hey Jude?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they say, like, let's go away for 15 minutes and we come back and then play the song we wrote.
That's kind of joke. I feel like I would do that. If the one who forgotten the Beatles, I would have...
So the main character just comes back, he's like, I just wrote this, and starts playing Hey Jude. Then Ed Sheeran's like, good golly, I've got nothing that compares to that. But yeah, I don't like that film.
I feel like plot-wise, I would do something like that. Like, if someone had forgotten... Well, I don't know any Beatles songs off the top of my head.
That's the thing, you'd be a really bad person for this to happen to, because you'd be like, to Hey Jude, and then you'd release Hey Jude, and that'd be your entire discography.
I don't even know the words to Hey Jude, so... you don't need to sing Hey Jude.
The words Hey Jude are in there.
Yeah.
You know two of them.
Yeah.
And there's most of the lyrics are na 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 na.
I guess, yeah.
Because it's just like 5 minutes of them going na 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 na.
Yeah.
So you probably do. You know most of the lyrics to Hey Jude.
Hey Jude, yeah. But I feel like if I did know enough of the Beatles' discography, I would do something like that.
Yeah, this would be a good thing.
For you.
For me.
Yeah.
If I woke up and I was the only person who knew, like, what the Beatles were.
But then I think you also need to counter in the fact that not everyone likes the Beatles.
That's the thing. That's another issue with that film, is that if the Beatles had never existed, then the music landscape today would be so different anyway.
Yeah.
And you can't kind of release that music now and expect it to be
like just as popular. Yeah. Because part of the reason it's popular now is because of nostalgia from the 60s.
Yeah, it's like nostalgia from the 60s, and also it influenced like the development of pop music.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not going to go on a whole rant about how much I dislike that film, because I could go on for days. We would be here in the Burn FM studio until the sun set.
Speaking of which, we're going to be playing a song from another great British band.
Yes, actually, before we play, can I tell you my fun fact about this?
Okay, what's your fun fact?
Radio Gaga. Sorry, I gave away what the band was, but I kind of need to for the fun fact. Lady Gaga.
Yes.
This is where she gets her name from.
Oh.
This is where she heard this song, and she's a really big fan of Queen. And she heard this song.
I love Lady Gaga.
And she said, Lady Gaga, that's a name I could call myself. I don't know where she got the lady from. Probably because she's a lady. But there you go, fun fact.
That reminds me, there was another... Oh, Just Dance, the games, were named after Lady Gaga's song.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Just Dance was her first song, and then they needed a name for a new Wii dance game. They're like, this song is really
Radio
popping.
Gaga, we're not sure about that one. Let's call it Just Dance.
No, they did not. They did not suggest Radio Gaga as the first option. No, they just had this really popping banger by Lady Gaga, and yeah.
Of course, the other thing that Gaga comes from is babies. Babies supposedly say goo goo gaga. I, for one...
What do you mean, supposedly?
Well, I mean... Like,
okay, I guess they... Yeah,
Have you ever heard a baby say to you goo goo gaga?
No. Except in Moshi Monsters, there's that baby goo goo gaga character.
No, I mean real babies. I've never been speaking to a baby and the baby has said to me goo goo gaga, although I don't often speak to babies. I find that it's very hard to hold a conversation with them. You'll often be talking to them and they'll just start crying or throw up on you. They don't usually have much to say.
Well, that brings us on to our next song, Radio Gaga by Queen.
So this is going to be our last thing, right?
Yeah.
So, do you want to...
Yeah, so, that was Discount Discourse with your hosts, Sharmalyne
and Reuben.
So, as mentioned, next week we're doing our show on relationships.
Yes.
Just yeah.
Get in your
Agony aunt.
Yeah, we're going to be your agony aunts, and your agony uncle. So get in your suggestions for that.
Sunday we'll be posting our usual question post.
Sunday we'll post the poll. Keep it light, please. You know, we're not therapists. We're just your agony aunts. And yeah.
Don't forget to follow us at Discount Discourse on Instagram.
And discountdiscourse@gmail.com. Please send me an email.
Please, someone humour Reuben and send him an email.
Lonely. Yeah, so as always, have yourselves a blessed day, and we will see you. Well, we won't see you. We never see you. I don't know what any of you look like.
Well, we know most of the people listening to the show, so
this is
arguably...
true, actually. Most of the listeners are people, like...
We know.
So I do know what most of you look like. But in any case, I'm not going to see them when we do the show.
That's true.
So that part is true.
So, listen to you later.
We're not listening to them.
Yeah.
You listen to us later.
Yeah.
Here's Radio Gaga by Queen.